um, I'll again put the timer on 20 minutes so that we are all mindful of that, because
Yep.
you can go into 1 hour easily, and then we'll see what comes from that. So what would
I
you like?
also don't really know. It's coming to me like as we speak.
Yes, yes, those are the best times sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I think what I'm going through in my life right now that I could use some support is I'm navigating a moment where I have to make a big decision to go and move to another country. Um, because of values and goals and previous things that I've decided are important to me. So I've decided it was really important to me in my life right now to start looking at, do I want to have a family and who do I want to build that with? And I want someone who is very aligned in values. And then I met this person, except they live in a place where their job requires them to be there.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't know how to assess sometimes with myself, like what's most important to me right now.
Mm. Mhm. Uh,
And maybe that's something to talk about.
mm. So
Better
the
internet before it drops.
yes, your the connection just went off a little bit. I know that I have a bit of unstable connection. Can you hear me? I don't know if it's yours or mine.
Okay, this should be stable now.
Or okay, okay. So what I heard is that there's you're in the process of changes, and now there's your partner's life that is bringing
Mm,
additional pressure, and you mentioned values, and maybe difficulty in knowing what really matters, right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, sometimes I think that a lot of where I am right now is what really matters, but then I see a lot of potential in something else really mattering. And
Mm,
it's and I know at the end of the day I want to experience it even if it doesn't work out. Um, but I think I'm finding it difficult to sometimes just actually okay, it's coming to me now. What I'm finding difficult is my reaction to his reaction on things. That's what I'm finding difficult. So
mm,
I usually flow with the flow. I usually trust life. I'm like, let's give it a chance, and if it doesn't work out, we've learned from it. And his way of operating is logistical.
mm,
And whenever I've been asking for more trust or more like, let's just see where it goes, it's met with like, but we have to really look at the weather forecast before we go on a bike ride kind of approach. And
mhm,
I don't respond well to that. So maybe I should look at that.
mhm.
Yeah.
And imagining that we have looked at that for 10, 15 minutes, and you came to some space of shift, how that might look like.
I think it would look like me probably having maybe a mantra that suits me or um, a reminder that I actually got to the point where if the situation occurs again, you have an option to react this way or that way, and I can go back to this exercise and choose how to react to it.
So it's some kind of like opening to choices rather than being reactive at a time, right? And who is how is Rebecca when she's aware of choices? What's her posture like? What's her it's like
Mm,
mojo? Tell me about it.
I think when I'm aware of choices, I'm very practical and logical too. I will look at the options, I'll analyze it, and I'm very action oriented. I will want to pick one I don't really want to linger on the options. I think my posture would be quite confident if I have the facts in front of me.
Mhm.
Um, and once I choose, I think my approach would also to be like I've looked, I've analyzed, I trust my choice, and now I'm head on making this choice happen.
Mhm.
So it's yeah, not very flexible maybe.
Okay, yeah. So tell me about that, Rebecca, who is analytical, wants to make a decision, and how does she look at the other flexible, Rebecca? What's their relationship like?
I don't think they have a very hard relationship. I think that's what actually makes it so hard because they both understand each other, and then at the end of the day, it's hard to know which one to go with. So in my head, sometimes it's like, oh, you're being so analytical about this. That's great. And then, but it requires some flexibility. That's great. So what do I do? So they do communicate, but maybe too much that it makes it hard to be discerning, I think.
Mm-hmm. Mm. And then there's another person's state. So when your partner comes in as well, it makes it even more difficult because there's
Okay.
one part of that. And so tell me, we then, like, can you share a bit more what happens in that gap? So when you're in that, like, how do I make a decision while holding these two parts? And then there's your partner there as well. What happens?
I think what happens is I end up making a decision and I analyze the facts. I end up making a decision. I communicate that decision. It's and sometimes it's a decision made together. Um, but then I think as I've mentioned, I'll be ready to tackle whatever comes after making the decision. And he has more fears, he has more doubts, and I then start doubting my decision.
Is the
And whatever he's projecting starts getting, it starts affecting me. And I almost want to retract my entire decision sometimes. I'm like, well, it looks like you're so fearful and doubtful. Maybe I need to take it back.
Mm. Mm-hmm. So can I reflect a little bit? I'm just noticing there maybe there's a subtle shift, or
Yeah.
maybe not subtle, so subtle. So while
Yeah.
you're saying you want to have the access to making choices so that you can make a wise decision, I'm hearing that within yourself you actually have that resourcefulness, and when you balance these two sides, you're actually fine. But
Mhm.
after making the decision, when your partner, who is very analytical, actually starts bringing some emotions into it, maybe fear, concern, doubt, then that shakes you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And I think because that's a hard part of myself I've been trying to deal with, which is just expectations. I expect him to also make a choice and stick to it. And when he doesn't, I don't really know how to deal with the frustration of the expectation
Mm.
in various scenarios in my life, actually. I'm not very good at having an expectation frustrated and then what to
Mhm.
do.
I'm also sensing maybe that there is something about empathy that is if you're familiar with the contagion, empathic contagion.
Yep,
And what I'm getting the message almost like, or my interpretation of the situation would be as if you begin to lose your sense as you are in that empathic connection with another person and their emotions take over.
that's 100% accurate. Yeah, I think I can be a sponge in certain environments where I'm too empathic towards a situation and it does impact my own judgment or sometimes my needs. They override my needs
Mm.
in trying to put the other person's needs first.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sensing a shift in agenda. Do you?
Yep.
Or what would that be? What would be now the new focus? maybe, or what is coming to light now? Well, what is it within this topic that you would want to get out of our time together?
I think some clarity about maybe empathy and understanding healthy boundaries, maybe around empathy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that.
Yeah, yeah. So I know you know a lot about this topic already.
Mm.
So what clarity is needed at the moment?
When to not be empathic and actually decide that these are my needs and these are my decisions because and trusting that I've analyzed them enough.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then being flexible. This is so confusing.
Yeah. So yeah,
Um,
confusion is there. It's part of the process, right? Yeah.
yeah, I think that's why I chose clarity because in my head it's quite confusing all the concepts.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So would it be helpful that I bring a few references to empathy, and I'm just curious how you will take that, and then we can maybe have an experiment with that as well. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So just like yourself, I also thought that empathy meant to fully be with another person and feel what they feel, and that meant connection. And
Mhm.
then very recently, actually, last couple of years, I got a part of a definition and maybe a bit more research that empathy indeed means to feel the other person with the awareness of where they are and where they end and where I am and where I begin.
Mm. Okay.
How does that resonate? What that brings for you?
That makes me want to close my eyes to just like repeat what you said for a second. Where they end and where I end and I begin.
Yeah. So their personal space and their boundary and your personal space.
Yeah, I feel like there has to be some respect of that. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how to achieve that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so mm, let's have an experiment maybe with
Yep.
you and me. Yeah, would that be helpful?
Sure.
And then we see what that will bring and how you could apply it in your situation. So, is there any topic that naturally brings sense of empathy and connection with others? So easy. Do you have any specific topic?
Um, I think in topics of education, in topics of connection, in topics of relationships, I find it easy to empathize. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So let me just try to bring something along those topics, and I'm going to ask you to hold the space and listen to me with awareness.
Okay.
Um, well, no, let's do the first round. The first, just do what you do with the empathy, right?
Mhm.
So I'll just give a few sentences. It's been now over a year that I have been having a long distance relationship, and life brought this to us, not because we chose, but because we had to. And well, I'm just feeling how already emotions are coming up, what that journey was about and how it was hard and triggering. Yeah.
Mm.
What do you
Yeah.
notice? Hmm. What do you
Oh,
notice is within you when I share?
I noticed like a deep inhale and the opportunity to lean in with curiosity if you're willing to have that welcomed.
Mhm.
Um, I don't notice the need to fix for anything. I just notice the will to ask you more about it in
Mhm.
terms of feelings and what's coming up for you, because it sounds like something you're willingly sharing,
Yeah.
looking for, yeah.
So let me share the feelings. The feelings, I'll share difficult feelings, regret, shame, grief, confusion. All of that was really present for the most of it. I feel like I'm not in that space at the moment. It was really, really hard.
Hmm. Yeah, what I notice is that perhaps I have not experienced some of what you're saying,
Mhm.
but because you're being so vulnerable in sharing it, it makes me want to meet you with the same vulnerability.
All right. And what does that mean?
Um, to me, it's almost an invitation to lean in more to listen to you. I'm right now I'm in active listening mode. I don't want to give you ropes or anything. I just want to listen and see what you need from me. That's kind of I'm in a position where I now want to just be useful, but not necessarily to fix, maybe to listen or to ask you more questions. Yeah.
Thank you so much for being, I'm kind of
Yeah.
like, yes, hold me in that space.
Yeah.
And I'm also curious what is happening within you as you get that intentional leaning in, hearing more, knowing that there are difficult emotions. What are you exposing yourself to?
To your feelings and your perspective of things.
All right. Okay. Yes. So now I would like you to add one more layer to that and
Mhm.
let's see what happens.
Yeah.
So while all of that is happening, and you're obviously having empathic response to what I'm sharing, even though you don't have that experience, but you know that there's been a difficulty and so on. And in the back of your mind, if you can softly speak to yourself, so that's one invitation, and you can choose which part you want. One soft invitation is to go speak softly to yourself and say, Dalida is on her chair and I am on mine.
Mm. That's very comfortable to imagine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's true, right?
true. Mm. That kind of brought like immediate tears to my eyes. That's so interesting.
What
Yeah.
are tears trying to say?
Mhm. Um, oh, the first response is that have I been trying to sit on people's laps or in their or scooch them in their chairs or almost like I think it's a guilt feeling almost. Like have I not been occupying has my chair been like empty while I'm trying to sit on someone else's chair?
Mhm. Let's hold that. There's a bit of guilt and maybe surprise, and
Mm,
you've never seen yourself in
yeah,
that space before. And
yeah.
if you can just recognize and come to the places, many people confuse empathy with exactly doing that.
Mm, mm,
Difficult emotions are hard to hear. We don't know how to be with others and yet also protect ourselves.
mm,
Mm.
yeah.
What are you noticing?
The tears keep coming. And I'm just wondering if I just well, usually I listen to the first things that come to my head. I don't know if those questions were if they're worth sitting down and answering with more time, or if it's just my inquiry mindset that comes from years of teaching, where I just
Mhm.
ask lots of questions. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
so that was right. Let us just pause for a moment and we'll continue for
Mm.
just for 5 more minutes or so.
Okay.
What is the inquiry that is coming in? It seems that an expert who
Yeah.
knows
Yeah.
is showing up and almost wanting to take care of you and offer an inquiry.
Mm. Yeah, I think it was just such a beautiful symbolism with the chairs. And my mind is just playing with that. And I kind of want to go into my body less than my mind, but my mind is just asking all the questions like, if there are two chairs, where are you? Like what space are you occupying in different conversations that you have? That's
So
kind of where the question is. Yeah.
yeah. So and what if you were to check in with your body?
Mm.
You check in with your body
It
where
calmed down a little bit now. Um, my body feels a lot lighter than 5 minutes ago for some reason. Mm, my arms are light and there is some lightness on my chest.
Mhm.
Um, but I also noticed I was clenching my teeth
Right.
just now.
Mhm.
Mm,
Just notice what is this awareness providing for you right now and what choices are you making?
mm, yeah, I feel a bit better, as in
Yeah.
calm.
Mhm. Yeah. And like there is a typical way of closing a session with a question of what are you taking away as a result.
Mhm.
It's based on your agenda or what you wanted to work on. How could you bring this at the time when you're connecting with your partner?
I think I'm taking
I lost you for a moment, or is it me? Are you back? Yeah, you're back.
my back.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm,
I was just saying I think I'm taking away a very powerful visualization for when and I think have maybe to do the exercise still of like when is a good time to remember this exercise.
mm,
Is it what kind of feeling is the trigger, I guess, for me to pause and think of this?
mhm, mhm. So when
Um,
it was
I think I'm
useful.
also taking away that
Sorry. Go ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead.
I think I'm also taking away that I need to spend more time with my body when these happen.
Yeah.
I immediately go into overdrive mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wonderful. So I'm also sensing there's a lot of that physical leaning in, listening, asking for more emotions, coming back in,
Mhm.
realizing, right? Um, it sounds like some self-reflection
And
based
I
on
think sharing these with my partner too. Yeah,
right.
I think it's work.
I don't know what you did a moment ago, but there was something about the connection that you did, and you said now it's going to be better because now it's not. And And I'm like, not only you're sitting on your chair, but you're also complete your own space, and we can't connect now at all. Are you back? Mm, all right. There you are. I think are you coming back? Kind. So perhaps it's important that you stay in your own space and do that reflection. I have a feeling that you can hear me. And if that's okay, Rebecca, I'm going to ask others to join, and maybe we can have a bit of a conversation about both sessions, if that's okay.